Hi, everybody. Um, Thank you for joining me live. And for those of you that are watching the recording, thank you for taking the time to watch. I'm really excited to share with you the next chapter that's in front of me. I went to Bali last week for a week to get my retreat supplies because I hadn't been able to enter Bali, but thanks to getting COVID, I had natural immunity and was issued a certificate to be able to enter Bali and to get my ceremonial drum and my retreat supplies, because I had scheduled retreats here in Australia, but didn't get the bookings. And funnily enough, as soon as I landed in Bali, people were asking me on my Instagram, "Oh, you're in Bali, you're going to do events." And the demand for my work has been much greater outside of my home country. So I've always believed in the saying, "Go where you're embraced." So I will be leaving Australia with no plans to return, and selling all my possessions to travel the world and offer my sacred services for free. And the reason for that is, let me just go back a little bit. In 2008, I received a vision from Lilith, the archetypal wild woman, when I was training facilitators. And she came to me wearing a mortarboard and graduation robes. And my voice was taking my student facilitators into the cave to meet with the serpentine goddess of Kundalini. But she said to me, "Come with me." And she showed me an image of a woman, was just the outline of a woman in the red sands of the Central Australian desert. And she said, "When you are one with the earth, he will come and together you will ride the rainbow serpent around the world and open the lotuses of light." And what this suggested to me was opening the portals, the chakras, if you will, within the magnetic field of the Earth's grid. So that was a while ago, and I was like, okay, I wonder when that's going to start. And when I was in Bali, I did all of my favorite sacred practices because Ubud is one of the two places where the main dragon lines, the energy meridians that carry the energy of sacred feminine and masculine around the planet, cross over. It's where they intercept, there in Cusco in South America, like a big infinity sign. And I knew how potent the energies were, having lived in Ubud for 2 years in 2018 and 2019. And so I did breath work the second day after I arrived. And I knew it was going to be a big journey because I had a blackened toenail from where, here in Australia, once I got out of the lockdowns in Melbourne, where I'd been for a year and a half with my son, I was then homeless for 8 months in Byron Bay, trying to find somewhere to live. And Byron is a meeting place. Yeah, it's a place where the Indigenous Australians would have corroboree once a year. And so it's a vortex, well, the most eastern gate of Australia, that calls you when it's time for a rebirth. And I'd done a breath work here, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. And in that, I always journey deep into a trance state when I do breath work, and usually experience the polarities of orgasmic ecstasy and rapture and deep grief. and it really cleans out my channel so that I can get crystal clear guidance. And I usually journey to meet that part of me that is male, that is a shaman, that is Lemurian and speaks in a very ancient tongue. And it occurs to me that this is the beloved within, okay? And so he said to me, you'll be here in Byron for a year. And the intention for that breath work in Byron Bay at the time was to heal my sacral, which is where I've had chronic health conditions. Funnily enough, I've been invited to go chanting with the whales on a 6-night sailing expedition on the 1st of September. So whale is the totemic animal ally that governs my sacral chakra. So this feels very auspicious. If I have Wi-Fi out on the boat, I will do a live from there, but I don't know that I will. So I go into this breath work in Bali, and I warn the young Italian man to my left that I usually have a very strong journey. And it was somewhat confronting for the young facilitators as well, just how big the energies are of those dragons that come through me in those practices. And after I was experiencing an orgasmic rapture, I then got taken down to experience myself as that masculine part of me, my divine complement within. And he is one with the earth. He feels Gaia's grief and rage intensely. And these raw emotions were flowing out of my heart. And in doing that, helping to purify the heart of the world soul, the heart that is Gaia, our earth mother. And then the valve opened and the whole room started sobbing. And the message that came through was that by me, and with the intention, I always open up the directions and invoke the elements before any one of these sacred practices and ask that healing that's done through my vessel is a healing for the collective. And what was said to me was that I had opened this portal for their grief, for their heart's grief, and that their sacred tears formed their baptism to enable their rebirth, just like the waters break when a woman goes into labor. And that I was being asked to do these intense practices around the world to help raise the energies of the serpents of Kundalini, the dragon lines of the earth, which is what was the work of the Magdalens of old. And so that I would be traveling around the world, just wherever I was called. So not necessarily what are considered the chakra points of the earth, because a lot of these vortices have become very exploited. You know, there's a lot of spiritual tourism. And so I would go where my heart compelled me to go. And before I left Bali back in January 2020, I did a breath work, and Pele, the volcanic goddess on the big island of Hawaii, called to me and asked me to come there and help to move the energies through. So that was interrupted by COVID. So I am now going to resume that call to visit Hawaii. But I'm giving myself 3 months. I had a reading with a girlfriend, Diane, in Bali, fellow Scorpio sister, and it confirmed well, the first three cards she pulled were past, present, and future. The future card said, time to go now. And the rest of the Celtic cross spread that she laid with the tarot really encouraged me to take my time to honor the yin, the feminine part of me, by giving myself enough time to comfortably do the logistics that were needed to complete my shaman's death here in Australia by selling all my possessions, and then to honor my heart by going where I'm most appreciated and most welcome. And so I asked practically what that would look like, and what the message was to ask my students, specifically the priestesses who have, and the brothers who have done my initiation programs with me, either in person in retreat or online via my initiation programs, or done my facilitator training, and to ask them to host me, so that I am going to family. I am, in a sense, visiting my legacy and seeing and experiencing the joy of my legacy, taking part in the circles that I've seeded, because this is my community. You know, my small self was like, oh, you know, with everything that's unfolding in these transition times and the uncertainty with supply chain distribution resulting in food shortages and things, and the imminent collapse of the fiat currency, you know, the small self was like, oh, shouldn't I be on the land in community growing food? And I realized through this that my community is global. So I'm at home with those that truly value the work that I do. So like a sadhu, I'm going to ask that I am housed and fed by the people that wish to receive me and receive my work, and I will offer sessions, circles, and ceremonies in exchange, so for free, so that I don't have to worry about work visas and the bureaucracy and the red tape, because the last time I was invited to lead a workshop at the Omega Center in New York, which is the biggest spiritual organization in America, I was stopped by a visa representative in Munich, and who wouldn't approve my visa application, so I had to cancel the event. So this time I'm just removing that as a potential obstacle by not accepting money for my services. But what I will do is I will be launching a project which is very dear to my heart, called Good Morning Rainbow Tribe, and this is a live streamed show where I will be bringing good news from around the world and helping to heal xenophobia, the fear of other cultures, by meeting people and introducing you to people that I meet around the world. If you will, the bringers of the dawn of the new age. It's kind of like the breakfast show for the new age of Aquarius, and unifying everybody and helping to activate the whirling rainbow prophecy, which is all colors and all creeds living together in harmony and unity consciousness. And the whirling rainbow says that there would come a time when the children of the rainbow would circle the earth. And so being called to ride the rainbow serpent, ride the energy lines, and hold ceremony, circle to create vortices that raise the energy, feels like another way I can help to fulfill the whirling rainbow prophecy and activate this vortex of ascension, of harmonic unity consciousness. So stay tuned for that. I will be bringing to you in the months to come a website and how you can get involved with Good Morning Rainbow Tribe. And because the community of the show will be creating the content, and I will be the muse for that. So it's interesting, I look at the local time, 5:11 now, and that is my birth date. So just another confirmation of this time for birthing this. So I'm very excited to bring you with me in this new chapter. And everywhere I went in Bali this time, I saw butterflies when I was having the reading. Big butterflies were fluttering all around us. And when everyone started sobbing in the breathwork, I saw butterflies circling my head and then circling the room, and lots of confirmations when I did 5 rhythms in Bali and had the reading in Bali, and did full moon ceremony in a waterfall. So I'm very clear that this is the next path of the journey. Thanks for joining me live, Julia from the UK, Vasiliki, Trisha, really appreciate your support. If you know of any wonderful conscious people that might be able to host me in Hawaii, I would be very, very grateful. Hawaii is notoriously expensive, and I'm coming there to be of service to the mother and the global family. So I am asking to be provided for in exchange. So if you do have any contacts in Hawaii, that's the first place I'm called to go. I would be very grateful if you could send a private message to my team at admin@themoonwoman.com. And yeah, if you feel to host me anywhere else in the world, please drop me a line. That would be wonderful. So thanks for watching, and thanks for your support in advance. And yeah, I'm very excited. All right, thanks so much for watching, and yeah, looking forward to joining you live in person wherever you are in the world. See you.